Hello, I'm Dan Passarelli of MarketTaker.com here on the floor of the CME Group. So it's a volatile day here on the floor of the exchange, and one of the stocks that's particularly volatile and heading lower, kind of leading the pack lower a little bit, is Apple. Now, Apple was heading lower before earnings, and after earnings it really tanked, and today we're seeing this follow through yet lower, and I think that that can continue. Apple has broken through its support level of $94 a share, and especially if it closes below that level, I think there's a couple more bucks to the downside of room that it can fall. Implied volatility is actually not really that expensive being after earnings, so options are sort of cheap, but with the VIX on the rise and with volatility high all around, the implied volatility of Apple could rise some. So I want to find a way to be able to hedge off some of that volatility risk and give myself a nice hefty profit, a leveraged profit, if Apple falls a couple more dollars with limited risk. How do I do that? I do that with a debit put spread. In specific, buying the 90-95 put spread in May. I like that spread because since the stock is between the two strike prices, the Vega exposure, which is our implied volatility exposure, is actually very low. So if implied volatility rises or falls, it's not really going to affect my position that much. So I'm looking at this as kind of a pure directional trade, although it is somewhat time-based. If the stock falls, if Apple falls down to about $90 a share between now and expiration, I could have a nice potentially leveraged profit. Of course, if it happens tomorrow, I'm not going to have as big a profit as I would if the stock takes its time and ends up at 90 by expiration, but that comes along with trade management. I'm not looking for the full Monty here. I'm not looking to reach my maximum profit on this trade, the most I can get. My rule with debit or credit spreads for that matter is if I can ever take 80% of the maximum profit of a trade, I take it. So that's my plan. I'm Dan Passarelli here on the floor of the CME Group.